So you've almost finished making your handmade jeans, but you've sewn on the waistband and found that it's too big. Everything else about the pants seems to fit great, but then when you sit down, there's a lot of gaping at the waistband. This is an issue that I found a lot of us who make our own clothes can run into. So today I'm going to teach you how to make a curved waistband from the straight waistband that your pattern came with. This way you'll get the right fit for you every single time. I'm going to use my Persephone pants as an example. This pattern comes with a straight waistband, but as you can see, there's a lot of gaping around the waist. It looks okay when I'm walking around, but you can specifically tell that there's too much gaping when I sit down. This is happening because my body is curved and not straight. And while straight waistbands work for some people, if you're finding the same issue that I have, a curved waistband is definitely the way to go. My waistband is currently basted onto my pants, and I would recommend that you do the same. Then to hold the pants together, you're going to want to pin or clip the overlap at the front where the button would go. That way, your waistband represents an accurate representation of what the pants would be like if they were fully sewn up. Now we're going to want to sit down in our pants, and then we're going to pinch out the excess fabric at the back of the waist. Then we'll carefully put a pin through both sides of the material, which is going to hold the pinch in place. Now you're going to want to stand up and move around in the pants. I like to pick my knees up, stand up, sit down, and do anything you need to make sure that this is going to be the correct fit. The reason that I recommend putting your pin in place while you're sitting down is because if you do it while you're standing up and then you try to sit down, it might be too much out of the waistband. I've done this before in the past, and then when I finished my pants, it looks absolutely amazing standing up, but when I sit down, I look like I'm about to explode out of the pants. So I would definitely make sure that you have a snug fit while you're sitting down so no one can see down your pants, but you also don't pinch out too much that is actually uncomfortable for you. Now once you've pinned the fabric at the back of the waist and it's feeling comfortable, we're going to take the pants off and move over to drafting the pattern. This is the pattern piece for our original waistband. We're going to fold it in half and then we're going to trace it out. Once we've drawn on this waistband, I'm also going to add 1/4 inch seam allowance to the top, because when we make a curved waistband, we're going to have to cut out 2 pieces and have them sewn together at the top, rather than with a straight waistband where you can actually just fold it over. I'm also going to add 1/2 inch to either side just to be safe. Now that we've redrafted our straight waistband, we're going to cut it out and we're going to use it as a starting point to create our curved waistband. Now let's go ahead and grab our pants, which should still have a pin in them from when we fitted them earlier. We'll take our tape measure and start at the pin on one side. Then we'll fold it all the way around to the other side, and for me, that's 2 inches. Now we can set aside these pants and start working on the waistband. So the idea behind what we're doing here is we're taking our straight waistband and we're going to curve it so that the bottom edge is still the exact same length, but the upper edge is going to be taken in by 2 inches. To do this, we're going to be using a method called the slash and spread method. We're going to make multiple cuts into the pattern piece to manipulate it into what we want. Since I have 2 inches that need to be taken out of the waistband, I'm going to distribute those 2 inches between 16 different points. This way, I only need to take out 1/8 inch at each point. This is because 1/8 inch times 16 points is 2 inches. The reason I'm doing so many points with such little amount taken out of each point is because I only want a slight curve in the waistband. If the curve of the waistband ends up being too sharp, it might look and feel uncomfortable. Okay, so let's go ahead and find the center back of the waistband and mark it. Then from there, I'm going to draw 16 lines that are evenly spaced apart. For my waistband, I'm making the lines 1.5 inches apart from each other. After I've drawn in all those lines, I'm going to make marks on either side of each line that are 1/8 inch away from each other. These are the marks that I'll use to distribute the 2 total inches from the top of the waistband. So now that I've made all the marks, it's time to slash and spread the patterns. We're going to cut down each of our straight lines, leaving a tiny bit at the bottom so that all the pieces are still attached. Then, once we've done that for all 16 lines, we're going to overlap the pieces by 1/8 of an inch so that the small marks that we made earlier are sitting directly on top of each other. Then we'll tape all of these down, which is ultimately how we make the curve to take out 2 inches from the top of the band, while keeping the bottom of the band the same length. Now we're going to take that piece and retrace it onto another piece of paper to make our final pattern piece. But because the curve isn't super smooth, we're going to be doing a technique called truing. All that this means is that we're going to sketch over the places that are a little pointy and smooth them out. Then once that's done, I'm going to make a mark to indicate where the center back is, and I'm going to write a note to cut out 2 waistband pieces and a note to cut out 1 piece of interfacing. Next, we can cut out the final pattern piece and begin using it on our fabric. Now if you want to learn how to attach the waistband to your pants, click or tap the screen for part 2 of this video. And if it's not there yet, that means it'll be posted in just a few days, so be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on all the helpful sewing content I have coming your way.